Hello and welcome to Planning for Structural Change, SMEs and Resilient Rural Regions webinar organized by Regional Excellence Research Group as a part of the Foundation project funded by Interreg Europe. In the next 2 hours, we will dive into the world of rural regions and their development through the activities of businesses operating in these regions. The word of the day is resilience, as this webinar will raise new views and research results on SMEs' resilience in rural regions. We will find out the answers to questions such as how the growth and internationalization can be supported by different regional policy instruments, what can we learn from, and how can we advance the triple helix model. In the first half of this webinar, we will hear 6 keynote presentations from experts from different fields. Then, in the second half, we will engage in a panel discussion where we talk more about strengthening competitiveness through collaboration. We also hope that you, our dear webinar participants, will actively engage in the discussion. Remember to send tweets, comments, questions on social media by using the hashtag #ResilientRuralRegions or tag foundation_EU on your tweets. My name is Simo Kekäläinen and I will be your host today. And without any further ado, let's move on to the presentations. I would now like to introduce Matti Muhos, Director of Kerttu Saalasti Institute from the University of Oulu, to open this webinar. Welcome, Matti.
Hello, everyone. And from my behalf, you are all most warmly welcome to the Interreg Europe webinar. I'm also, in addition to the position as a director of the Institute, a professor of industrial engineering and management at the University of Oulu. We are one of the partners of the Foundation project. The central aim of this webinar is to raise new views and research results on SMEs' resilience in rural regions, how the growth and internationalization can be supported by different regional policy instruments, and what can we learn from and how we can advance the triple helix model. This webinar is funded by Interreg Europe program. The program is established to help regional and local governments across Europe to develop and deliver better policies. The central aim of the program is to create an environment and opportunities for sharing solutions and policy learnings. That is exactly what this seminar is all about. Let's share the best solutions and implement those solutions in the regional policies across Europe. The webinar consists of 2 main parts. During part 1, we will follow presentations from the selected speakers. The second part consists of a panel discussion focused on strengthening the competitiveness of SMEs in rural regions, especially from the perspective of triple helix collaboration. I'm really looking forward to learn a lot during these discussions. In the beginning, I would like to introduce you to Interreg Europe Policy Learning Platform, where you can actually find several best practice examples from different parts of Europe. In this project, we have delivered many best practices from different regions, and first 3 cases from Finland. So from the platform, where you have the link also there, you can find more detailed descriptions of Micro-Interreg Growth Network, which is the collaboration model developed by University of Oulu and its networks. It is built upon peer-to-peer learning support and co-creation. It is currently functioning in more than 5 sub-regions in Finland and expanding rapidly. The second one is Yritystakoma Enterprise Smithy, which was one of the key solutions in Oulu region in larger layoffs in recent years. And as a result of that best practice, there is a lot of thriving entrepreneurial activities in ICT industry in Oulu, and the ICT industry in this region is growing really fast. And the third one from Finland is the rural SME internationalization model from the southern part of Northern Ostrobothnia. The rural SME internationalization cooperation model lowers the threshold to internationalization to rural companies by peer network and shared marketing. It is easy to get to know these through the platform. And here are a couple of other cases from other collaborative project partners, which you can also find from the platform. One from Ireland, one from Austria, one from Poland as an example cases. I want to thank all the presenters already in advance. Let's share the solutions and implement those in the regional policies across Europe. I'm certain that we are going to have a very interesting webinar today. Once again, welcome all.
Thank you, Matti Muhos, Director of Kerttu Saalasti Institute at the University of Oulu. We will continue with the presentation, and it's my pleasure to introduce Mr. John Hobbs, who's a Senior Lecturer of Economics at Munster Technological University in Ireland. He's also co-learning in the Foundation project. Welcome, John.
Good morning and afternoon, everyone. I guess that's a kind of first for me as an introduction. So it's morning time here in Ireland and in certain parts across Europe, and I guess it's just turned into the afternoon now in Finland. So I'm delighted to be here this morning to talk to you about co-learning and the opportunities across the Foundation project. And what I wanted to do was just explain a little bit about where the Foundation project came and the key role, I suppose, that the Oulu and Northern Ostrobothnia region, I suppose, have played within that. So in terms of the Foundation project and where it came from, there's a lot of difficulties across Europe. Every region is the same, be they urban, rural, etc., where you have large, significant employers who close down for a number of different reasons, to do with limited resources, to do with access to skills, to look at producing more efficiently or cheaply in other regions. And the impacts of these closures can have huge effects on the local economy, the employees, and even the sub-supply sectors within those economies. So when we had a chance, I suppose, previously to work collaboratively with the University of Oulu, we were invited to participate in a project on the Puusalmi mine, which was closing down, and planning for that shutdown, and how, I suppose, the region could react strongly to ensure that there was employment there once the main employment from the mine was taken away. So on the invitation of Matti and a number of his colleagues in the University of Oulu, our research group V-Link within the Munster Technological University were involved in a small project which was funded by the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Employment in Finland and worked in collaboration with NIHAC and Callio, some of whom we'll hear from later today. And that project really focused on looking at the impact that the closure would have on the sub-supply sector of the Puusalmi mine. So we conducted a number of interviews using a methodology that we've developed that's also coincidentally a good practice on the Interreg Europe policy learning platform. And we looked at measuring, I suppose, and analysing the linkages and connections that those 13 SMEs had who supply the mine as one of their main customers. We looked at the geographic scope of those particular connections, so to see if they were just focused on the mine or if there was other connections they had outside of that, and what the next steps might be for them. We measured the impact of those connections, and then we visualized those connections. And I guess what we came up with was a nice map of the different sort of links they had across the different sort of geographic areas. And I suppose one of the things we found was that these companies had a very limited number of international links and were really focused locally on the mine, but needed to start thinking more entrepreneurially about what links were available to them outside the region and where their new customers were going to come from, and planning for that. So after that piece of work, we looked into the future, to the different types of linkages that they would like to develop, where they would like to develop customers, and what type of skills they would need to be able to bring those customers on board. And we produced a report that's available, and it looked at a number of different elements, I suppose, in terms of helping and supporting those companies, both through developing export consortia and clustering together to work collaboratively to reach those newer international markets. And I suppose that particular small piece of research built into a larger project where ourselves, the University of Oulu, and a number of other interested parties across Europe came together to look at this same difficulty that we all share of large company closures and the instability, I suppose, they bring to our local, our regional and urban economies, and how we would build resilience through collaboration towards that. But unfortunately, the COVID pandemic hit just after we had kicked off the project. So we got to meet face-to-face twice in Cork and in Manchester. But after that point, I suppose the world changed and everything changed in terms of how we're reacting to COVID. And not only were large enterprises closing their doors, but numerous SMEs, small and micro and local traded services, all had to close their doors for COVID in terms of public health requirements and in the interest of public safety. So we shifted the focus of our project to look at that, the impact, I suppose, of COVID-19 and supports for industry in terms of developing back, getting industry back open, looking at the different policies and programs that we're operating in our regions to support industry and support employment in this crucial time of need. So in terms of how we learn through Foundation, Matty mentioned the policy learning platform, and I have a little bit more information on that. But collectively, I suppose, as a partnership, we put forward the good practices and what's happening in our region in terms of regional development and planning, and we share the learnings we have through those programs, initiatives, actions which might be of relevance to our partner regions and even other regions across Europe, I guess. And our key focus is really driving that resilience and ensuring that we have that we're able to withstand these shocks. I suppose, COVID has hit everyone like nothing ever before, but we should be more resilient coming out of the pandemic, and hopefully the vaccination rollout is happening well across Europe now at present. So in terms of sharing those good practices, as Matty mentioned, there's a good practice database, and all of these slides will be available and they're hyperlinked afterwards. So there's access to a number of different good practices on the entire Interreg Europe database. There's also COVID-19 good practices database, and the links will be available here as well. And as Matty mentioned, we share then when we meet, face-to-face or online via webinars, the good practices in our regions that might help and support other regions to become more resilient as well. So in terms of connecting with those good practices, all you have to do is pop onto the Foundation website, look under the tab Good Practices, and you can get more information on any of those that are of interest to you or your own organizations, no matter where you are across the globe or in Europe or in one of our partner regions. So it's available to all, and that knowledge sharing is free. So I'm very much looking forward to the webinar today and learning from our Finnish colleagues. And thanks very much for everyone for being part of this webinar, and importantly, our guests for plugging in this morning and connecting with the project. As was mentioned at the start, do pop your questions onto Twitter, and we'll get those to the presenters and ensure that there's a lively discussion this morning. So thank you very, very much, and I'll pass you back now to our host.
Thank you so much, John Hobbs, Senior Lecturer of Economics from Munster Technological University, for your wonderful presentation. And also thank you for your support from the Irish people for the Finnish Eurovision representative blind channel. We got many points from you, so love and support, that's all we need. We'll continue with the lineup of our presenters here, and it's my pleasure to introduce to you Mrs. Marjo Kolehmainen, who is the CEO of Federation of Finnish Enterprises here in Northern Ostrobothnia. Welcome, Marjo.
Pikkasen tarvin apua. Okay, thank you. Okay, hello everybody. It's very nice to be here, and I want to thank Kerttus Saalesti-säätiö and University of Oulu that I have a chance to make this presentation here. It's a little bit exciting to be here for two things. The first is that I'm actually at the university now, not in the corner of my kitchen, making this presentation. Hopefully the world changes like this now on. And the other one is that it's been almost a year since I last time spoke English, so let's do this with the rally English. Anyway, what I was planning to tell you, actually it's three things. First of all, of course, I want to tell something what our organization is and what it does. And then I tell briefly some numbers from our region so you can understand how important SMEs are for our region and its vitality. And then last I will show you some slides from our survey that our organization has made, which tells what entrepreneurs think about growth and what helps them to grow and what motivates them and what are the limitations. So who we are? We are an organization founded by entrepreneurs. We have 115,000 members. They are all SMEs. And they have actually 660,000 jobs and employees. This includes also the business owners. We operate in three different levels. Of course, the national level. My organization is from the regional level, Northern Ostrobothnia, and then we have these local associations and societies, actually in every town and city here in Finland. We are the largest business organization here in Finland. And why do we exist? Of course, it's a simple reason. We advocate for entrepreneurs. We present SMEs, businesses, and we want to improve the position of entrepreneurs and help them to grow, help them to do their business. Our goal is to make Finland a better country to do business in. And for that, of course, we need a lot of good partners, such as University of Oulu, of course. We want to also tell everybody that entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship is not only that the companies make money and they make profit, but in the whole, the Finnish society, it's important that entrepreneurs are doing well, and it leads us towards to a better future. Of course, we impact the decision makers. That's the main thing, but we have also a lot of different kind of services to our entrepreneurs. I won't go them through. You can see it from the slide. But one of the biggest issues to be a member is, of course, that we have a big network of experts who help our members for free. They are lawyers or tax experts and so on. So it's very, very good service for our members. And the other one is, of course, networking. We are an excellent platform for entrepreneurs to network. So that's about that. Then the Northern Ostrobotnia. We have here we have a little bit now the number is a little bit over 17,000 companies in our region, and they're almost every one of them is SME. We have only 24 companies that are big. All the others are SMEs, and 93% of our companies employ less than 10 persons. So a lot of small companies in our region. On those companies, we have 72,000 employees, and turnover they have been made is more than 15 billion euros. This is number from the year 1918, and paid salary is 2.6 billion euros. So just by looking these numbers, you can see that SMEs are very important to our region. It really gives the vitality. In our region, we have members 4,100, and on those companies, there are about 30% of the jobs in private companies. Then the results of this Direction of Growth survey. I took only 3 slides from that survey to this presentation, but if you want to look it further, you need to go to our website, and there it's unfortunately only in Finnish, and I thank Katarina for translating these next slides to me so I can present them in English. First, we asked the entrepreneurs that which encourages the entrepreneur to grow. And there you can see the top 3. And it's very easy. That was, it's not, I didn't mean easy. I think this is very clear result if you are thinking about how to be a successful company. First of all, our entrepreneurs, they believe that they have a good product and good service. They believe what they are doing, and that's very important, and that encourages them. The other half is that entrepreneurs, they have their own growth-seeking motivation, and I think it says it's the only way to grow is that also the entrepreneur is motivated to grow and wants to grow, wants to keep up his or her competence to grow. And if you have a good product and an excellent entrepreneur, of course you need the clients. So responding to demand is the third one that encourages the entrepreneur to grow. Of course, there are several other things, as you can see from that list, but in my mind, I have always thought that there is this formula, this triangle of success that needs that the entrepreneur's competence, the personal talent, it must be talented, that must be good. Then you have a chance to success. Of course, the product as well must be good, and then you have to have the clients. If you miss something in some of this triangle, you have some sort of trouble in your business. Then we asked entrepreneurs which one from the following means are the most important ones for your company from the point of view of growth search. And most of the entrepreneurs said that it's boosting the sales and marketing, and this is not surprise to anybody. Everybody knows that it also tells how difficult it is today to sell and to market right, because it's changing all the time. It's if you look how we did things in 15 years ago, it's quite different now to find how you find your clients